Hey, what's up? Good morning.
Good morning. Happy
Morning.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Happy Friday. October 31st. And this is our episode 8 of the Bird Dog Breakdown. So every Friday, we weren't here last Friday, but every Friday we try and make it where we are going to go through deals. Hey, what's up, Sean? We're going to go through deals that people send us and deals that we have evaluated over the past week. There's been some really great deals and deals that we've sent offers on. And then there's been deals that we quickly passed on due to certain criteria. It didn't meet our criteria. So the whole goal of this, though, we started this to provide feedback and show you how we are evaluating deals, but also just to share what it is that we are looking for when it comes to mobile home parks, RV parks, fix and flips, like the different assets that we're going after, the different like what we're going after in our buy box, right? So bobbysbuybox.com, monicasbuybox.com, ingridhernandez.com. We all have our criteria, our buy box in different areas that are focused on giving the criteria of the things that we want to take a look at. And it also gives the criteria of things that we will not take a look at. And so our whole goal is to just share some of the findings, some of the things, the takeaways that we have in the past week, and hopefully something that some value you can take away from that makes you a better hunter. Like if you're out hunting for deals like a bird dog, or if you're just trying to understand and learn more about what end buyers are looking at, how they're looking at things, how they're evaluating things. So hopefully you could take away some of that, some of those nuggets from here today.
Yes, we had a busy few weeks, actually. It's been super busy, like basically working all day and then with bird dogs on the phone till 9 p.m. at night, sometimes later. Working last night on a deal actually with Bobby that we got to find a private equity partner on, right, Bobby? So we're going to be looking for one private equity partner that is going to be probably own at least 50% of the park. So really good things going on. I've been calling about 2 to 4 brokers every Tuesday and Thursday night with my team of bird dogs. I kept from the challenges about 6 or 7 that, are go-getters and that want to learn. And I'm giving my time to them still. And we just call brokers, we go through deals, we go through underwriting. So that's kind of some of the nuggets that we want to share. Like Bobby said, I think that, Bobby, do you want to start off with like on our buy box, we put that we don't want any lagoons or treatment plants because of environmental issues or getting our park shut down because if something goes wrong, that's for, sanitary waste. And I did get a park brought to me that has a lagoon and it's been inspected. It's only 4 years old and it's fenced off and they have to, the bulk side, it's like a septic tank. So they drain that once a year and then the lagoon just evaporates the water. Well, I don't know if I'm going to make an exception or you should make an exception. It can be risky. So you have to weigh the risk. I mean, I really don't want a lagoon or a treatment plant, but what if the numbers are amazing? And like this one, it was inspected. The inspector said they went above and beyond and that it's, like I said, it's pretty new. The older ones are the ones you have to worry about failing, right? The infrastructure's old and, but that's one thing that I've learned and that I think that my buy box says no lagoons or treatment plants, but I do have some bird dogs bringing me just saying, hey, I found this one. So if you find a really good deal and it says that, even though our buy box says no lagoons, you can always just ask your buyer, say, hey, I found this really great deal, has a new lagoon. I know it says no on your buy box, but can we just look at the numbers and look and see what's the risk, right? So I think that's a case-by-case basis, as well as flood zones. We met with another, Bobby and I met with Patrick Bassan, who is an owner's club, and he owns, I don't know how many pads, a lot, maybe 1,000, I don't know, but he's got some in Alaska. Him and his wife, they own RV resorts. And he said that because we put no flood zones, well, you could get a flash flood. I live in Nevada, and just recently we got a huge flash flood that flooded my storage, and I'm on the ground floor. So he's saying, like, and he has some on rivers. He has some in Alaska on the water. I mean, he said that it could flood anywhere. So that's another case by case basis. I think we're going to be willing to look at and see if possibly, if it hasn't flooded in 60 years, or it was, or it's going to flood again in the next 90, I don't know, but just weighing the risk and kind of taking that as a case by case basis, because I mean, Patrick's super successful, and we had a great Zoom with him and learned so much. So I think that we should do a case by case basis on that. So if your buyer's box says no flood zones, no this, no that, you guys got to do more due diligence into it, though. Make sure it's a good deal before you even bring a flood zone, right? So it could say flood zone. You could say, hey, I looked at this. I pulled the numbers. Monica, it looks really good, except it's in a flood zone. And I'll still take the time to look at it with you. I'll say, well, let's look at it. Let's see what the flood zone, what does the report say? When did it flood last? Is there a levee? Is there something nearby? Like,
yeah.
Because if the numbers make sense, right? But you got to make sure the numbers make sense first.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you can go, if it's near water, near the coast or near
a river.
That I would take a look at the flood zones, like the FEMA website, and so I'm looking in Florida. There you can see the maps of all the flood zones, right? Same thing with Texas, right? It's another one. If you're seeing deals that are near the ocean, it's likely that they could be in a flood zone, and you're going to want to take a look at that. And to me, it's just, there's so much risk. There is a lot of risk associated, as everybody knows, with having those. And so what's tough is, like, there was a deal sent that was in Texas, and I like the deal, and the seller is super motivated, but it is in a high risk flood zone. And it's, to me, I don't know. I'm like trying to think. I'm like, all right, well, if the terms, like, how good do the terms need to be in order for us to take it? And I'm like, it's not worth it either way. It's like, it just, yes, there hasn't been a flood in a long time or whatever, but they have it in a flood zone. They have it marked as something that has a higher percentage than others in having a flood over the next, 30 years or so. Like, they have it marked, and you could actually see that detail. I would honestly, with everything with AI now, it's actually super easy. You don't necessarily have to go directly to and try and search on a map and look where it is. You should end up there if you're uncertain. But I would use like Perplexity or ChatGPT or some AI tool to just say, using this address, research, go to, look up the flood zone, whether or not this property is in a flood zone, and let it do the research, and ask for to cite the source in which they pulled that information from, so that is it like from the FEMA website, is it from and that's ultimately where you want to just fact check yourself. And that is a super easy one that you can just put into ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever AI tool that you use, and search that way. It'll just be quick and easy, because once you fit that criteria, like what Monica's saying, because then looking at the numbers and seeing like that will require getting the financials and all that detail as well. So if you can eliminate it right away, that's like, okay, this is in a flood zone. I already know automatically my buyer is not jumping on that. Or it's below their pad count or their site count. I am not going to send it unless. So I actually just added something, Monica, to mine, and I'll add it to your buy box too. I just did it. I'll share my screen real quick and share it.
Yeah, if we can actually hop on together this weekend sometime and look at my buy box and see where we need to make any changes, that'd be awesome. Just go ahead and share. And I want to tell you, Sean just commented. He did bring Sean's on my team, and actually Bobby works with him too. We all, we share bird dogs because we do deals together. He brought us one in California that was by the ocean, and it was according to the 2008 appraisal, it said it was in a flood zone. Sean, is that the one that's the RV and the storage park, I believe? Anyway, so like he's saying, he brought it, but if the numbers all work and we can kind of look into the flood, like what Bobby just said, go into AI, see what happened. It's not okay. It's not all right.
Yeah. So the one of the things that I just added is so for RV park, it actually the same will apply to mobile home park. So I need to add it there too.
Okay.
But the financial performance, so right out the gate, and this is not tried and true, right? Like, and that's why I put or. Whenever you're in doubt, send it anyways, by the way, and that way you can gain more and more confidence on what it is that you're looking for or looking at, and feel better about what you're about to send. So when in doubt, send it. But what we're looking for is a minimum 150,000 NOI, net operating income, right? The income minus the operating expenses annually, 150,000 or more. That's right out the gate as is. Like when we take it over, it would be doing that. And we want value add opportunities, right? Like, is there an opportunity for us to increase rents to the market rate? Is it we can expand and add more sites? We can add amenities. We can bill back on electric or utilities, things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe their expenses are extremely high. There's opportunities there, and we can easily now start to increase this NOI. That's really the main point. Like, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to force that appreciation. We're adding value to the park. And so having this as a baseline is something that will allow us to ultimately get to what we want, which is the cash flow of like $12,000 a month or more. And we'll work backwards from there to see, can we get to, 250,000 plus NOI over a 12 to 18 month time frame. And then can we get terms to where we need to get to our cash flow goal? But we have 150,000 or more over the last 12 months, or it meets our minimum 35 site threshold and it has value add opportunity, right? So like I said, if it's like 140, 130,000, but it's at least 35 sites and it's kind of on the fence, or maybe they just weren't running it. They weren't running it effectively. Or they were running it half the year. Like, look at those things, right? Try and think about, like, does this have the potential to get to a higher amount than it is today if it was actually opened all year or it was managed appropriately? And ask the brokers that too. I think having that conversation is like, hey, like, and the way it's being run today, like, I feel like should this be at 150,000 NOI or more? Like, what's the deal? Or give me some background on whether or not there's some immediate value add that we can do to raise the NOI. Like, once you start to get more comfortable having, that's what these calls are for every Friday. Like, so you can get more comfortable in the conversations that you have with brokers or wholesalers or whoever you're getting the deals from, so that you can narrow it down and bring us things that we'll buy.
And you can always reach out individually to Bobby, me, Ingrid, and just if you have a question or if you need help, we're all willing to help you, get comfortable and do, find the right information or help you search for the right information. So don't feel, just reach out. You can reach out through our buy boxes or, and just, we'll help you. Another thing, Bobby, I wanted to talk about is like wedging in or acquisition fees and those kinds of things for bird dogs. So, Bobby and I have a tiered system with bird dogs. We follow the same guidelines on, if you do more work, you make more. If you bring more to us, you're going to get a bigger return. Some instances you'll be able to wedge into the deal for a very small percent of equity, or you'll be able to wedge in through the JV agreement. And then when it cash out refis, you'll get an equity bump then. So there's many different ways to structure how we can make it lucrative for everybody. And we're super fair. We worked on a deal last night till late. Bobby probably has had no sleep today because we were up late and then he still had stuff to do. But the acquisition fee for the bird dog on this one that we are, I don't know if there's a way to wedge in on this one because we have to have a huge equity partner on this one park. But it's a good park, but with the acquisition fee and the stuff, they'll be very well taken care of. So, I mean, it's not that hard. And let me tell you, we've had just in the past 2 weeks, we have a bird dog that he's a sub-2 student, and actually Sean brought him to us, and he brought us so much information. I mean, so much. Like, he basically did the underwriting. He did everything. He didn't just bring us an address and say, here's this, and yeah, it's doing the NOI 150 a year, the basic. He did all the work to the point that he's now he already brought another deal this week, and he's going to be part of our team because he's just a huge go-getter. And just know, the more work you put in the beginning, and you can use AI as your friend to put stuff in and try to get more information, and use AI to really dig into these things before you present it to your buyer. And even if Bobby and I aren't your buyer, or Ingryd, but if somebody, whoever you're doing your bird dogging stuff for, and you can make a really good return on really good leads. And if you don't have time to do more research, you can, that's why we have the tiered system. You can, but we've had some really good luck. You guys, I've called probably 40 brokers in the past, 40 to 45 in the past 30 days. This weekend, we went over my whole lead log from my bird dogs, and we're going to be sending out probably, I'd say, 3 to 5 offers just to get offers out. They're good deals, and just put an offer out, even if it's not what we're going to put an offer out, even if it's not exactly what they're asking for. But if you don't ever take a shot, how are you going to know? So we talked about it last night. So we're going to be getting some offers out, and yeah, I'm so grateful for bird dogs.
Yeah. And one of the things too we have a lot of, I actually have a couple calls today too. And I'm actually going to drive up to see a park this week.
Talk about that one a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I talked with the broker yesterday. This is a park up in northern Florida, and it has been, it's making probably over 600,000 in revenue. And hi, Lily. Good night. It's making probably over 600,000 in revenue a year, but the the expenses are super high, right? And so there's an opportunity for us to decrease the expenses. Their salaries across the payroll is extremely high. It's probably 35% of their revenue, and typically it's between 12 to 18% when you have over 100 sites. Your salaries, your payroll is typically around 12 to 18%, and theirs is at 35. So, but it's a beautiful park on the water, on the lake. There are multiple campsites, and then there's over 100 RV sites, and a few boat slips as well. And so it's not in a flood zone though, and I'm going to be going up there. The seller is open to seller financing, and what's funny is something that's cool. A good takeaway from this too is I told him, okay, I'll make an offer, and I asked, I was like, what is he looking for in terms? What are his terms, the sellers? And he said he would like to see some skin in the game, right? So at least 30% down, and that was it. No, the other rest of the terms didn't really matter, so long as he can come close to his purchase price and show some skin in the game, which he wants 30% down. So I said, okay, cool. And I was like, I could send an offer, and I'm like, man, I'd love to come up and see the park. And this is the benefit of having it local, right? Well, Monica, you've had multiple things where it's like, if it's within driving distance. So this park is about 4 or 5 hours away from me up north, northern Florida.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to make the drive this weekend to go up there and see it in person. He said he's had a bunch of blind offers and not one person's really come to see the park yet. And he's like, this seller is savvy. He's a bigger investor. And that would go a long way for him to see if you're visiting the park in person. It shows kind of your commitment and what, because if he's going to seller carry and seller finance, right? He's my bank. And he wants to know how committed I am and that I'm going to perform and that I'm invested in making this thing work, because he doesn't want to take it back over. So think about the psychology there of like someone that wants to seller finance, and especially in this space and commercial too, but they want to seller finance. They don't want to take it back over. They're trying to sell it. They want to get rid of it. So they don't want to have to foreclose and take it back over. They want to know the seller is committed. So one way is obviously putting a higher down payment. But another way is like showing up and going to on-site visits and building that rapport and really just showing that we're in the credibility and that we're serious buyers here and we're going to perform. So anyways, just a good nugget, good takeaway.
Bobby, you could make an overnight trip, just bring your kids. If it's 4 or 5 hours, drive up, see it. Maybe
that's what I'm trying to
stay somewhere kind of fun nearby for the kids and stuff, and then drive back the next day. Me and Vance and I have driven to a few parks that are local in Nevada. That they've been about 2 to 2.5 hours away. And if it was that far away, Bobby, we'd probably spend the night and then. But I forgot we weren't on here last week, and we do have an offer out to a park in Texas that he's working on the details right now. So that's pretty exciting. And he's taking a little bit longer, but I've built a rapport with him. I've had many conversations on the phone, really nice guy. And I just wanted to give an update on that one. And I wanted to give an update on the Virginia City park that we talked about, I don't know when, a few times ago, that we had put an offer and then they countered, and it's super overpriced, the park. So Sean, he actually, I don't know how, but he reached out to the agent's broker's husband somehow. Maybe it was listed on different areas. And I find it interesting. These are the things that you'll learn is like her response. So the agent responded to Sean and I and said that she had dealt with me and Bobby and all of us. And that the numbers are actually just going to miraculously improve for 2025. And the cap rate's going to go up to 7% from like 4%. And there's just no way. And so I just responded to her and just said, she wanted me to put another counter together. And I refused because I'm like, this seems like dishonest. I don't know. I got all the financials. I underwrote it. We underwrote it. We see they're taking the money from this park and putting it into other assets. Well, a hotel that's failing as well. But anyway, I thought that was interesting that miraculously it was going to make a lot of money this year. So anyway, she just told us best of luck to us, because I responded super professional and just said, hey, after reviewing all the documents, I find it hard to believe you're going to be able to do this. And I already know what's going to happen. Someone's going to bite with these new numbers that are not true. They're going to get it under contract. And then when they collect all the bank statements and all the due diligence documents, I guarantee it falls out of contract once they see the real numbers and not just what they're putting together. So that park, Sean, Kevin is the one in Texas, and he's awesome. And he's been communicating. Actually, his response was due on the 29th, but this is what I want to tell you on some things. I built the rapport with him, and we talked about it last night, Bobby and I, if I should reach out. He's been reaching out every day. He reached out yesterday, told me I'm working on it. It expired on the 29th. But Bobby and I were like, no, we're not desperate. We really aren't. I mean, yes, it's a good deal and it'd be nice to have. And I've built the rapport with this guy. So I'm just being patient and let him take his time. And, I want him I feel like when you get desperate and they're calling and like, oh, well, your thing expired, people are like, that's a red flag to a seller carry deal to me. It's like, oh, these people, so you just have to give them the time they need. And Bobby, Bobby and I and my team will pivot when we get his response. It's probably going to be in the response of a counter offer, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so we'll keep you up to date. Maybe by next Friday, we'll have some good news for you guys and be under contract on that one.
Yeah. So I want to share something too that I went through last night on a deal. It's a mobile home park portfolio. And I think the good takeaway from it is, so for mobile home parks, right, there's tenant-owned homes where the tenants, they own their mobile homes and basically are renting the dirt from you, and then they're or renting the space from you, the pad. And then there are park-owned homes, POH. And so those are the ones that are owned by the park, owned by the owner that owns the park, and then they're leasing out that mobile home to tenants. And so we got sent one that has a mix of them. And so in total, there's 4 different parks and 67 sites total. I'm going to share my screen to go through the numbers. I think what's interesting about, there's a couple of takeaways. One, some things that I noticed within the P&Ls that they shared, because they only shared year-to-date P&Ls, so the last 9 months, and how I was evaluating it and looking at it. And
sorry
then
to interrupt, Bobby. Was it from a bird dog, this deal? Did a bird dog bring you this portfolio like to buy?
No.
Okay.
Ingryd, actually Ingryd got it from some wholesalers, I believe.
Okay.
And she
Just wanted to know
forwarded
the
along.
background.
Yeah. No, thanks. That's important. Yeah, this one got sent. I mean, maybe that person that sent it was a bird dog, but anyways, all right, I'll share my screen, but basically just the context, there's 4 parks. They want 4.125 million for it. 4.125 million and 67 sites. The NOI on it that they have reported is 295. So they have it at a 6% cap rate, right? 295 divided by this, 7% cap rate. So here is what the takeaways that I have. Let's go here. Make sure I'm not sharing the names or anything, because we did make an offer on it, but it's very different than what they want. So I'd be shocked if they take it, but it's what we would need it at.
Yeah, Sean, we did talk to a broker that has a lot of direct to seller park. A lot of the parks have park owned homes, but yeah, that was a great call.
So, okay, on here, I put together the 9-month P&Ls in one spreadsheet just so you all could see the how they compare. The park sizes are different. So if you go down here, let me zoom in a little. Down here, this is basically what they sent. The 4 different parks, 19 sites on each, but there's 10 on the 4th park. And so almost 60% of the sites are they're park-owned homes, right? And so our buy box, if you recall, so for mobile homes, we prefer majority of them to be tenant-owned. That way, like we don't need to be responsible for upkeep and maintenance and with the actual mobile home or the manufactured home. So like we wouldn't be responsible for that. That's preferred, but it's okay if there's park-owned homes. And then I'll show you what's not okay about this and what you can do about it. So 58% are park-owned. The price 4.125. The NOI that they're reporting, projected for the rest of 2025, basically the whole year, is 295, which is 7% cap rate. So we want to buy parks in like 8 to 10% cap rate, and then for this particular market too, 9 to 10 would be ideal. The this NOI is higher than it should be. And I realized too, when going through the P&L, that I broke it out. So this one, okay, it's fine, but the expense ratio is extremely low, right? There's some obviously things missing from here. So I did pull together the actual NOI from each up to the 9 months, but then I did one that's more realistic, which has a 50% expense ratio, right? So for parks, mobile home parks that have mostly park-owned homes, you can expect the expense ratio to be around 50%. And for the rest of the parks, what I noticed was actually right here is where, oh no, this one too. So this one, they had the note payment, whatever debt that they currently have on it, they actually had it included in the operating expense, right? That's debt service is not part of an operating expense. And so their expenses were much higher than they should have been. So I started to pull that out. It was just on 2 of the parks that they had a note payment in the expense. But just to show you, right? That's why you have to look through these, because any debt service or even one-time fees. So they did mention in notes that the maintenance includes some upgrades. So like 29,000 in maintenance, you don't want to include that in your operating expenses either. You need to strip that out. Yes, great. There was upgrades or renovations or maintenance related things that are one time, and you want to know about those, but that shouldn't sit in your recurring operating expenses. And so either way though, I underwrote it 2 different ways. Here, what's your actual NOI? Here's the NOI at an expense ratio I would expect, which is 50%. And this is only for the 9 months, right? So take those 9 months, take the total, divide it by 9 to get your NOI per month. And I did it again for both right here. One at what they're saying the number is, and then another saying at a 50% expense ratio. And so once I took that per month, then I multiplied it by 12. This is just an estimate. What I got the actual NOI that I would expect for this park, just given what they have, and there is value add. You can increase the rates, you can increase occupancy, and there's some other things you can do as well. But just to be conservative, like again, for us to be able to move this forward, for somebody that wants 4.125 million for these 4 parks, that's doing about 263,000 NOI. This NOI is great. Like this passes our threshold. We could jump on this, but we would need it at about 2.5 to 2.6 million, right? Because you're taking the NOI and you're dividing it by the cap rate, right? Which, like I was saying, we want it between 9 and 10. So at 10%, it's 2.6. At 9%, at 9%, it's 2.9. So like in between that is what we are okay with buying this at. So let me put this back. Good so far. Anything, Monica, that I may have over?
No, this looks great. I was going to say that just so people know that when you divide the NOI, and this will give you what you really should be purchasing it for. And a lot of the times they're over asking because they, just to make the cap rate what we need it to be at.
Right.
So it's at a 7% cap rate right now, right?
They have it. They have it
at a 7.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Which
it's not
is
really
295 divided by the purchase price, 4.12. Their asking price, excuse me, not purchase.
Yeah.
Their asking is a 7%. The absolute lowest cap rate we'd consider.
Yeah.
It depends on the market, but in general, I guess it depends how much value add opportunity there is too in it. Like we could be overpaying for something. Ideally, it's between 8, anything like 8 and above.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the end of the world if it's lower. But do we have an opportunity to truly like increase this NOI enough, and we have a long enough time? Because we're trying to do value add within 5 years. Like within 5 years, try and refinance out. Are we giving ourselves enough time to increase? And is there enough value add there to increase the value enough to when we do refinance or sell in 5 years, whatever that market cap rate is going to be at that time, because the bank, it could be much higher, it could be much lower, but they're going to take the NOI that we have at year 5, and they're going to divide it by the market cap rate, and they're going to say, here's how much the park is worth today. Are we creating ourselves enough opportunity there to then pay off a park that, like, if we're overpaying for a park right up front, it just means less equity down the road. Like, and some of these deals can be tight because you're going to have to pay off the seller note or that seller finance amount, or the
Private money
senior loan,
partner,
like
somebody.
whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. You have to give yourself enough room. So that's why we want, we don't want to overpay. And so typically like 8% or more is ideal.
Right.
But like this, I just, on top of that, right, the seller wants 35% down, 3%, 3-year balloon, 5% interest only.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't make sense. So I was like, okay. Now the big thing is park owned homes. Here's why. Like, again, there's just a lot more upkeep and maintenance related to it. It's not the end of the world. But if you look at the parks, this I posted about this last night because I thought it was interesting, like looking through this. So anything that's like pre 1978, so 1977, you might be able to get it insured, maybe, but it's very unlikely that you're going to get this insured and you're going to get a bank to finance on it if it's anything pre 1978. So 20 of the 30, or what was it, 39, 36?
36.
I think I had to remove a couple. Anyways, 20 of them, though, are 1977 or earlier. So these are pretty old. I don't know what the renovations are in them or anything like that, but it's going to be hard to get them insured. It's going to be hard to get financing. And so that's part of my reasoning and what I wrote up back to sending our offer. Mm-hmm. It's hey, we're going to either have to remove these, we're going to have to find buyers for them, at least basically sell them off and convert to a tenant-owned home model, or we're going to have to like renovate. Either way, that's going to be a cost and a heavy operational lift and all these things, right? And to sell at a 7% cap rate for what someone's going to have to come and take on, like what they're going to have to do here, it's basically, it just doesn't make sense for us. Mm-hmm. So this is why we're offering this way. And then I added something into there that basically they are going to put money aside in escrow, $350,000 if they agree to this, but $350,000 aside in escrow for a period of time, like 6 to 12 months, that sits there, and we can pull from that to fund whatever it is that we're going to do with these old park-owned homes. If we have to remove them completely, whatever it is, whatever money we don't spend on those, and obviously documented, like we're making sure that you're showing that seller, but whatever we don't spend, they get that back at the end of the time period. But it allows us to still say, hey, otherwise we're going to take it from the purchase price, and you definitely lose it. At least there you can give a $350,000. You might get some back depending on what it is that we end up doing with it, but it gives us an ability to spend that money to do whatever we need to with those 20 park-owned homes.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I liked. Yeah. So this is I say all this because, and then we do have other opportunities. I was talking with Ingryd, Monica, about this, and the stuff that Chris Craig was mentioning. Like, we're gonna learn more about some of the opportunities that we have, if whether it's like tiny homes or container homes or manufactured homes. Like, there might be some other options that we can do here that we could end up using these spots for, just clear out the old park-owned homes. So we made the offer yesterday at $2.5 million, 5% interest only, 5-year balloon, and we still did the 35% or 30% down. And to me, though, that deal works. Like, we're going to be able to cash flow $12,000 plus, like with all the value add, the things that we can do to fill the vacancies.
And that includes the 350 in the escrow account for these park owned homes, right?
Yeah, that's separate. They're going to put that in too. That'll be just be part of, yeah.
Awesome.
So if they take it, cool. It's drastically lower, but at least I provided a reason why. I'm not just coming in and quote unquote lowballing that an offer. I'm telling them why we believe that that's the case. So just wanted to share that. I think, so how could this help you if you're out there hunting for deals? I would say if you are, the more versed you are too in understanding the opportunities. So we've actually had a couple of bird dogs do this, Monica, right? Like we've had some really great ones that bring us stuff that actually they're thinking through opportunities that you have. They're doing research. They're understanding, like if someone were to bring something to me too, and they're like, hey, I know these are a lot more park owned homes than like you want mainly tenant owned. This is mainly park owned, and they're old, but what if you did this, or what if you can, and that's why building up your network
ways. Yes.
Yeah, think through ways that we might not be thinking through, or at least that gets our attention, that will allow us to not just skip over something. If you feel like something's not fitting exactly in our buy box, but you have some ideas on how to capitalize, or maybe you know the market so well, and we might look at it and be like, I don't even know what that is, and the numbers don't look great, but you're thinking through like the growth that's about to happen there, or they're building some big headquarters there for something. Like if you know some inside stuff that will help, then just sharing that knowledge just goes so much further.
Yeah. What's driving that area, like industry, like what he's talking about. Yesterday I was talking to one of the bird dogs, and they had a refinery is being built. It's going to be one more year till it's up and operational, but it's been being built for a year. It's a 2-year build. So they have a lot of, workforce housing in that area. Sean asked you if you looked at the Oric property at Bobby. I think he brought it to both of us. It's the Oric, California park.
I haven't looked at it yet. No, but I will.
We'll try to look at it today, Sean.
Yeah, we're gonna get multiple offers, like Monica was saying, out this weekend, and I have some parks that I have to look through in my inbox too.
And I shared our whole Sean log with Bobby yesterday because, like Chris on our team was saying from Toronto, he said, just if it makes sense and the numbers are good, even if you have to do your due diligence as far as like what Bobby did. He explained about the old park homes and this and that, but try to get as many offers out. Every shot you take, you don't know if you're going to hit something, so that's, I'm going to be pushing a little bit harder on some of these deals that do look good. I have a few broker calls to make this morning because I get to enjoy Nevada Day, so I don't work today. So I'm going to make some broker calls this morning and see, and then try to get a few offers out between today and tomorrow. Hopefully, I know I will.
Sean, I like the one that you sent this morning. I'm not going to say where, but I like that one. I'm just checking it now.
Is that the one that's in the flood zone?
No, it just sent this morning. That was Oh, was it? I don't know. I didn't take a look.
I could be wrong,
really?
But he sent 2 this morning. One is I don't mind saying, but it's in Upper Lake, California.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think Maddie Poachman just went and visited it a week ago. And I actually texted with Maddie Poachman, and somebody might be interested in that park, but Matt said that it is performing because I'm worried about the area because I'm born and raised in California. Oh, thank you. Look at your little scary picture right there, your little Halloween picture. Thank you. Let me help you out with the motto. Perfect. You miss every shot you don't take. Okay, guys? I knew there was something like that. Take the shot, you might hit, or something like that.
Shoot for the stars,
so
hit the
for
moon.
Me, I've looked at this park and a few other parks in Upper Lake, Clear Lake, and it's just a different breed of people up there. It's just, I don't want to own a park up there. But somebody might want to own a park up there. And Matty Poachman said that the park he did look at, and there's a few, so I don't know which one he looked at for sure, but he said that it's performing really well. And the one that I looked at up there with my bird dogs, I think they were asking like 5.4 million, and it was super overpriced. And I just, I don't have interest in that area really. And I'll let people bring it to me. And like Matt said, he was aware of the area and stuff, but it's performing good. So
yeah,
I think it just depends on the buyer, right? What you want, what you don't want to deal with. So, okay.
Cool.
The flood zones in Oric. Aurora is the pass for drug activity. I don't know if you guys know, I'm from California. I live in Reno, Nevada now, but that area is just, you can live up there for nothing. And a lot of people go up there that are like hiding, doing drugs, just seedy people and just a different breed of people. And I want to bring areas up and make it safe and whatever. I don't want to, there's another park we looked at that they said they just cleaned it all out and they've actually put money into it. And I didn't turn it away yet because they cleaned everybody out. I guess it was like a drug haven drive-through, stop by, get your drugs from the RVs. But these people cleaned it up, add some value to it. They're selling it now, but it's all cleaned out and redone. It's actually still on my lead list, but so it's not out all the way, and it's not in Clear Lake, California. So I'm good.
Cool. So does anybody have any questions? We've been on here 45 minutes. Gone through some pretty, what I think is helpful. Hey, you're South Florida. Oh, Kenneth. Okay, cool. Where are you in South Florida?
You got a coffee date, Bobby, right there. It says.
Yeah. I don't know if you're on the East Coast of South Florida. Oh, cool. All right, awesome. My dad used to work in Davie. I know it very well. So I don't know if you're aware of any of the meetups too, the local meetups. Have you reached out to me on Instagram? If not, reach out to me and let's talk about meeting up and when we can do that. I'm super busy. I have literally, I was just talking with Monica about it, and
He's got to do a bunch of reviews today.
Oh yeah. I have a bunch of things that I have to do for my team, and I also have 2 little ones, right? So when I'm not doing this stuff, I'm usually spending time with them. But I'd always love to meet new people in real estate that I'm not sure if you are in sub 2 as well, but yes, perfect. Let's connect then. Send me a message.
Yep. And Sean, I'm going to get with you this morning, even if it's via text or a phone call. Let's talk about the Alabama one because I don't want it to slip away. Seems like it's a good deal. So yeah, let's talk about it today, Sean.
All right, cool. Anything else? I think we had some really good takeaways. Hopefully you all found some value in it. If let me put up our sites here. I don't have one with just you and I. That's fine. We'll do this.
That's okay.
If you guys have any deals, here's our buy boxes. They all pretty much go to the same place. We're all looking at these deals. Any mobile home parks, RV parks, land. If anybody has land, commercial zoned land, send that over. And you'll see some other criteria in there too. We have a form in there. You can send it and we'll take a look at it. We'll be on next Friday. At least one of us will be on, and and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Okay.